Hey, shalom, shalom, family, most high in Christ bless. I am Officer Khalil here in IUIC San Antonio. All right. Today's class is going to be a lesson about respect. All right. Um, a lot of times I see how people kind of move, how people respond to correction or critique, I would like to say. And some people don't appreciate, rebuke. Some people don't appreciate criticism, right? But that's something that we have to really get over because coming into this truth is requiring us to change, all right? That old man that is within us, we're supposed to be mortifying those members, dying daily, right? But with that comes correction, all right? There's a lot of things that we learn in the world that is incorrect on how we're supposed to move when it comes to serving God, right? But some of y'all wives be disrespecting your husband. Some of y'all brothers and sisters disrespect leadership. All right. So we're gonna go over respecting leadership. We got marriage, and then we also have the congregation, right? When it comes to respecting one another. All right. Give me Acts 15:26.
Acts chapter 15, verse 26.
We're gonna go over leadership. All right.
Men that have hazarded their lives for the name of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Right. So you have men that's literally going out to other countries, hazarding their lives. Shout out to Bishop Nathaniel. Shout out to Bishop Asaph, Bishop Kanai, the deacons, the captains, all you officers and soldiers that's going out, that's hazarding your lives for the gospel's sake. Now, I want to bring that one out because some of y'all sisters and brothers don't even acknowledge leadership that's literally going over and putting their lives in jeopardy just so the gospel can continue to spread throughout the four corners of the earth. And that's something that a lot of us, we take for granted, right? Some sisters just walk by you, don't say shalom, right? Some brothers come into the school, don't even acknowledge leadership, don't salute leadership or nothing. They just come into the school, sit down, eat, or whatever the case, and just leave. Don't even let nobody know anything about them, right? And then we ask questions, then you want to get all puffed up and airy in your chest, and that's how you know people. You ask them questions, right? It's like when you go to a hospital, the doctor's gonna ask you, okay, what's wrong, right? Yeah, yeah, he gonna touch stuff, run tests, poke needles and stuff in you, and then you tell them, you either have the option to tell them, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, this is what's wrong, or you can just wait till the test comes back, wait till the assessment comes back. And then when the list gets there, okay, look, you got this wrong, you need to change that. You need to do this because you keep doing that. I can see that your sugar's too high, you're eating too much this, that. Well, who are you to tell me to do dinner? I've been doing, all right, okay, whatever, all right? That's why, I don't know if y'all noticed, like on Leviticus 19:32, when Sabbath class comes on and the Bishop Nathaniel comes on, they say, Bishop on deck. The reason why we rise up, the scripture says, you don't have to get it, but it says rise up before the hoary head. Because that's our bishop, that's our leader, right? So I want to go to 2 Samuel 23:3.
2 Samuel chapter 23 and verse 3. Yeah. The God of Israel said, the rock of Israel spake to me. He that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of God.
He that ruleth over men must what?
Must be just.
Must be just. Must be just in judgment. Must be just in how you deal with those that are under you, those that you are over in the spirit of the Most High. All right. Must be just also when it comes to your understanding, because leadership may tell you something and you have to have a just mindset and a righteous mindset to know that, you know what, this is not man speaking to me out of the figment of their imagination. This is the Lord that's in the council, right? We're going to get that actually right now, 2 Chronicles 19:6, right? Because a lot of us, we like to get in our emotions when leadership comes to a conclusion on a judgment of a certain matter, right? Like, for instance, I was always told, that you shouldn't always go off of your first thought that comes into your mind once correction comes. Like, I was never big going to the club in the world, but James was. I was just playing, right? Like if you walking right and somebody step on your shoe, what's the first thing you're gonna think? Is it gonna be righteous? No, your first thought is not gonna be righteous. Your first thought is like, what's wrong with you? Like I'll slap you in your flat mouth, right? That's not like, so that lets you know when correction comes, a lot of times your first thought is like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know me. I'm a real nigga, boy. I'm a street nigga. Y'all don't know that video? Y'all know the video? I think he was in Dallas, so that was probably your cousin. All right. But yeah, that lets you know that don't always go for your first mindset or your first thought when correction comes. Because a lot of times we have to check ourselves now. You know what? Let me check myself. Let me stay in the spirit, right? Because a lot of times like leadership will be like, you understand? And you just be like, yeah, right? And your face shows it. Like you may hear, but you ain't listening. All right, 2 Chronicles 19:6.
2 Chronicles chapter 19, verse 6. And he said to the judges, take heed what ye do, for ye judge not for man, but for the Lord, who is with you in the judgment.
Right, that goes into the leader must be just, must be righteous, all right? But once again, when there's counsel going on and there's multitude of leadership and they all come to a conclusion on a matter, that's not them just out of their carnal mindset saying, okay, yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put them out because this, that, and the third. Nah, they come together, go over the scriptures, they talk, they counsel, make sure they agree in righteousness, and then they come to the conclusion, all right? Go to Numbers 16.
Numbers chapter 16, verse 1. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan, and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, the sons of Reuben, took men. And they rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown.
Right, so that goes back to what I was saying. Don't respect somebody just based off of their title alone. Because those of y'all that know what happened in number 16, Dathan and Korah and 250 other knuckleheads rose up before Moses to come against him. All right. Now, it says that these men were famous in the congregation, kind of like what happened in 2018. All right. Those of y'all that know, y'all know. Jump down to verse 11.
Verse 11. For which...
I'm sorry. Read verse 3 and then jump to verse 11.
Verse 3. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, ye take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy.
Everybody's holy.
Every one of them. And the Lord is among them.
The Lord ain't just with you. He with everybody. Read.
Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of the Lord.
So you think you somebody, but the Lord is dealing with all of us. He ain't dealing with just you, Moses. We all leaders here. We all have a say-so. Verse 11.
Verse 11. For which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord.
Against who?
Against the Lord. And what is Aaron that ye murmur against him?
Right. So you go against the Lord when you despise leadership. When you think you know better and you get other people murmuring and that spirit of envy and hatred jumps on those people that are with you in a murmur, it's not against the lead. It's not against man on earth. You're doing it against the Lord because the Lord is the one who picked that person to be over that congregation in that area.
Right.
That's one thing you have to understand. Just like when it comes to that dude, Ron Dalton, wants to call out Bishop Nathaniel, like, bro, who are you? What do you do? Like, no, it's crazy. They've already dealt with that, so, whatever. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 8.
Right? 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 8. He therefore that despiseth not man, but God.
Right. So telling you, once you despise leadership and going against leadership, is not you think you're doing it to the man. You think you're doing it to that person. It's always against the Most High, because the Most High is the one that put that brother in that spot, in that city, to sit in the congregation at the table or at the seat that he's in. Because if the Most High was dealing with you on such of a special higher level, whatever, he would have picked you first and woke you up years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. But he didn't. All right. The Most High used that man to wake you up. So you should have that much more respect for the Most High and for that man to stay in the spirit and stay disciplined enough to go out and wake our people up, including you. You too, sister. All right. 1 Kings 12:1. And we're going to read to verse 8.
1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 1. Mm-hmm. And when Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king.
Right.
And it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, that they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake to Rehoboam, saying, mm-hmm. Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father, mm-hmm. and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee.
So they told him, hey man, listen, your dad was doing this. Like, could you make it easier for us, please? Keep reading.
And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, mm-hmm. then come again to me. And the people departed.
So he said, hey, listen, let me sleep on it for about 3 days, all right? And then come back. Read.
And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men mm-hmm. that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people?
So he asked the wise men, right? He asked them, how do you advise that I answer this people? What advice could you give me that I can give the correct answer to these people? I want to answer these people the correct way. Read.
And they spake unto him, saying, If thou would be a servant unto this people.
Okay, there we go. There we go. So he's a king, right? They told him, if you will be a servant unto this people. A lot of us brothers, because I'm included, I'm included too. I don't want to exclude myself because the spirit could jump on anybody, right? But a lot of us that's in leadership positions, we think that the people are supposed to serve us.
Right.
But it's the opposite. Christ came and he washed the disciples' feet. He was going out and doing, or he set the example. He was going out doing work, healing people and doing all that and third and teaching, letting and serving the people hand and foot. Christ did that. The Son of God did that. So why do we think when we sit at the leadership table or sit in the front row, we think that the people should be serving us? We are unprofitable servants. As a leader, we are here to serve the people. That's why the scripture says, feed the flock. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And you men that's under those leaders, your job is to make sure you are in a support role when it comes to serving great men. That's what you're supposed to do. Because the higher you get up, the more humble you're supposed to be. We're going to read about that as well. Keep reading.
If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, mm-hmm. and wilt serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them.
Speak good words unto them, not oppress them, not cuss them out, not quench their spirit, not talk down on them, not breaking them down. You're supposed to be building up, exhorting the people, serving them, showing them what the example of a good leader is supposed to be. So when they get in your position, they can continue to carry the mantle of righteous judgment, of being a servant, serving the nation. Some leaders are in a position, they're like, shoot, I'm good where I'm at. And then they don't want to have anybody else advance to their level. Mm-hmm. As a leader, you're supposed to build the men up under you to be better than you and go further and beyond. That's what a good leader is supposed to do. Not continue to keep the men around him dumb and under his heavy thumb. Like, was that Rehoboam? Mm-hmm. Yep. Keep reading.
Then they will be thy servants forever. Mm-hmm. But he forsook the counsel of the old men.
Right. So going back to what I said earlier, a lot of us, our first thought is forsaking counsel when counsel comes to our ears. It says he forsook the counsel, and they gave him just counsel. Read. They said he forsook the old men, the wise men. Read.
which they had given him, and consulted with the young men.
Okay, so we have situations that go on in different schools. You have soldiers or officers attend. Instead of counseling with the officers over them, they counsel with the brothers under them.
Right.
How dumb is that? You got a brother that just came into the truth less than 6 months ago, and you reaching out to him for counsel on how you should do something. You got single brothers that's reaching out to other single brothers to counsel them on marriage. Instead of reaching out to the officer that's over you that's been married for X amount of years. Tell you, man, some of us, when it comes to having that respect for leadership, it's not there. It's like the veil is over in front of your eyes. Same thing with the sisters. Instead of reaching out to a senior sister, they want to speak to a sister that is young in the truth, single, no kids, on how to move as if she was married and having kids. It makes no sense. Keep reading.
But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him.
Right. So grown up with him, meaning your peers. So if you and your buddy came into the truth together, y'all shouldn't be counseling one another on how to overcome a certain spirit. It's fine if y'all are there, like, two are better than one. Y'all can be there to exhort each other. But ultimately, you need to be seeking leadership on what you can do and what they see on how you can build your spirit up. Be around the men more. Come around more. Get your hands busy. Get some work done, because it may be, hey, you just got too much idle time on your hand. You're battling with this. Here, I'm gonna give you this to do, so you can spend your time doing something righteous versus working your hands doing evil. Right? And you can read about this also in 2 Chronicles 10. Keep reading.
And he said unto them, what counsel give ye that we may answer this people, who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which my father did put upon us lighter.
Right.
And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loin.
Disrespect. That's how you know these young men that grew up around him, they were dummies. But instead of him cutting them off or cutting their counsel off, right, and listen to the wise man that was rolling with his father, he listened to the young men that he grew up with. Instead of having that respect for the older men, the wise men. Keep reading.
And now, whereas my father did lade you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke.
Damn.
My father had chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions.
Right. So, and then even with that shows how much disrespect he had for his dad when he said, my little finger's going to be thicker than my father's loins, meaning my little finger going to be thicker than my father's you-know-what. Disrespectful. All right. Hey, give me that first video, how to distinguish.
If the person who's developing the vision is trying to impose their vision on you by force, then they're not good leaders. And if they're trying to terrify you into adopting their vision, so they use fear, then they're not good leaders. They're good leaders if they offer you a vision. Here's a possible game. What do you think of it? And would you like to voluntarily play? If someone can do that, then they're a leader you can trust.
Going back to what Rehoboam said, he asked the older men gave him the vision. Listen, if you deal with these people wisely and you serve them and you speak good things to them, they will serve you. Right? They gave him the vision, but he was like, nah, you know what? They want to make, he was like, no, you know what? Let me think about that. Let me think about that. Then he went to his partners.
Yeah.
And then his partner was like, nah, man, you need to force your vision on them. They said, man, F that. He said, and then they boosted him up. He was like, yeah, man, you know, my little finger bigger than my daddy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they was like, yeah, that sound good. What an idiot. What an idiot. All right, go to 2 Peter 2 and 10.
2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 10. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government.
They do what?
Despise government.
They despise government. They despise the leaders that's been set up in place. Read.
Presumptuous are they. Self-willed.
Self-willed. That self-willed spirit, disrespectful, because you don't understand how dangerous being self-willed is to the nation, right? I don't know if I got that in Maccabees, but y'all can read it. You had Azarias and
Joseph.
Was it Joseph?
I think it was Joseph.
Yeah. They blatantly went against orders that Judas Maccabeus gave them because they wanted to make a name for themselves.
Right.
They were self-willed. And they got, it was, I think, 2,000 men of Israel killed.
Right.
That's not conducive. That's counterproductive to the nation. When they give you specific instructions, and I mean specific instructions, and you still go against that, that's just disrespect. They'll give you plain, clear, concise A, B, C to do. 1, 2, 3. Even have you repeat it back to them. Okay, what you supposed to do? I'm supposed to do A, B, C, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, good. And then here comes when you checking in with them, you find out they did 8, 9, 10, X, Y, Z. Bro, we didn't talk about that. We talked about this. Oh, man, just going through some stuff. No, you just going through some disrespectful stuff. You need to, boy. All right. You finished that in 2 and 10?
No, sir. Self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignitaries.
Right. They'll speak evil about leadership in a split second once some murmuring goes on, like we saw in Numbers 16.
Right.
He got Dathan and Korah had 250 people to follow after them to speak evil against the Lord. It was, Moses and Aaron, but essentially it was the Lord because the scripture said that they came against the Lord when they did that. All right. Speaking evil leadership, 2 Samuel 16 and 5.
2 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 5. And when King David came to Bahurim, behold, thence came out a man of the family of the house of Saul.
2 Samuel 16 and 5.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, my bad. That was at 6.
And when King David came to Bahurim, behold, thence came out a man of the family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shemaiah, the son of Gera. He came forth and cursed still as he came.
Right. So this was somebody from the house of Saul. He was hating on David because King David now replaced what was in King Saul. Right? Keep going.
And he cast stones at David.
Hey, and that lets you know, y'all don't get in y'all's feelings just because you letting friendship get in the way when leadership comes to an agreement on replacing that person with somebody else or having that person that was once at this point or at this rank now getting brought down to a lower rank. Don't start murmuring when leadership do that. Keep reading.
And he cast stones at David.
He's throwing rocks at King David.
And at all the servants of King David.
And all the servants that was rolling with King David.
And all the people and all the mighty men were on his right hand and on his left. And thus says Shemaiah, when he cursed, come out, thou bloody man, and thou man of Belial.
So King David had his partners with him, and this dude was bold enough to be throwing rocks at everybody. Read.
The Lord hath returned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul, in whose stead thou hast reigned. And the Lord hath delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom, thy son. And behold, thou art taken in thy mischief, because thou art a bloody man.
So this dude is talking greasy to the king, with all of his men there with him.
Verse 9. Then said Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, unto the king.
Right, this is one of King David's men. Read.
Why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head.
Right, so that goes into showing you what type of leader King David was. King David was such a good king that he had the men around him willing to murk this dude that was throwing rocks at him.
Yeah.
That goes back into what the wise men told Rehoboam. If you would serve these people, right? You speak well unto them, you do good unto them, they will serve you. That goes to show that you brothers, when it comes to your leadership, your local leadership, of course, like bishops on down, but like y'all local leadership and stuff, comes to your local leadership, you should be wanting to make sure that nothing bad happens to them. And you have the mindset, you know what, if I don't do this, if I don't follow these instructions, if I don't show him respect, then I'm gonna embarrass him. You shouldn't want that. You shouldn't want stuff to hit your captain if you have a captain over your school, and then, you know, because he's going to hear it from deacons and bishops, and then, you know, he got to come to tell you, but it shouldn't even get that way. Y'all should have enough respect for your leadership to get the job done and just to follow directions, right? Ultimately, you want to stay in the spirit, right? Stay out of sin, and of course, when they give you counsel, you follow that counsel. When you don't go against that counsel, stuff happens. All right, let's just keep it at that. Let's go to chapter over 15 and 1.
2 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 1.
1 through 3.
And it came to pass after this that Absalom prepared him chariots and horses and 50 men to run before him. And Absalom rose up early and stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so that when any man that had a controversy came to the king for judgment, then Absalom called unto him and said, Of what city art thou? And he said, Thy servant is of one of the tribes of Israel. And Absalom said unto him, See, thy matters are good and right, but there is no man deputed of the king to hear thee.
Right, so for those of y'all that know about what Absalom was doing, Absalom was speaking good to the people. And Absalom had got a lot of people's mind changed or manipulated them to follow him, just like what we saw in Numbers 16. But Absalom had nothing but disrespect for his father.
Right.
When you read about what the things that Absalom did and he plotted. But that lets you know, like that smooth talking and all that stuff. Hey, man, don't always go for that. Do not go for, I don't want to say always go for that. Do not go for that. All right? When you have somebody that's smooth talking and trying to bring you to the side and try to talk to you and all that stuff, don't go after that. Don't follow that. Give me 1 Samuel 16, 14 and 15.
1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 14. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. And Saul's servant said unto him, Behold now, an evil spirit from the Lord troubleth thee.
Right, so the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, all right? And we know what Saul was trying to do. He kept trying to kill King David, right? He lost that respect for him because he had respect for him, but that envy came in once they sung that song.
Right. Saul
kills his thousands and David kills his 10,000s. He let that bitterness and that envy come into his spirit. And Saul was rebellious as hell because he got clear, concise instructions to kill all of the Amalekites.
Right.
And he didn't.
Yep.
And he didn't. I'm sure he had somebody that he grew up with was like, nah, man, you should keep that. You should keep them sheep.
Yeah.
You should keep that.
Yeah.
You should do it. And he was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, maybe I should. And we see what happened. Came back later and bit him in the butt. All right. Go to Matthew 23 and 12. Right,
Matthew chapter 23 and verse 12. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased.
Read it again.
And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased.
Right. So it's crazy how the Most High will do. The Most High, hey, go to Acts 12 and 21 and 23. The Most High will have you go to a certain, I won't say rank, but he'll have you go to a certain status, I'll say. A certain status, right? And you'll be doing things secretly just so he can bring you down publicly. That's what happens when you don't have respect for your leadership, you don't have respect for yourself, and ultimately you don't have respect for the Father. All right? Read that.
Acts chapter 12, verse 21.
This is what happens. This is an example when you exalt yourself. Read.
And upon a set day, Herod, arrayed in royal apparel, sat upon his throne and made an oration unto them. And the people gave a shout saying, "It is the voice of a God and not of a man."
Yeah, hey, you gotta imagine this. He's in his glorious apparel, and he gave this big speech, and everybody's saying he's a god, and he's just like, yeah, I'm feeling that I'm the man. I'm the man
I'm the
around
God.
here. I'm a god.
Yeah.
Read.
And immediately the angel of the Lord smote him,
Woo! Immediately, read.
because he gave not God the glory.
Because he gave what?
Not God the glory.
Read.
And he was eaten of worms and gave up the ghost.
Right. So when you raise yourself up to a certain status, to that's higher than what you really are, hey, you better keep in mind as you better check yourself to be humble, because at any moment the Lord can say, "Gotcha, nigga," and He can take all that away. He don't give a damn what you wearing. He'll take in your Jordans, your Gucci, your Coogee, all that stuff. What's some other stuff people be wearing?
I don't know.
I shouldn't
I'm
ask
old,
you.
yeah.
He old. 1 Samuel 17 and 11.
1 Samuel 17 and verse 11. When Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid.
Jump down to 24.
Verse 24. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were sore afraid.
Right. So that lets you know that the spirit, excuse me, the spirit that you have on you can jump on other people. All right. At this point right here, we read that King Saul, the king of Israel, was afraid. It says, now when Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistine talking about Goliath, they were dismayed and greatly afraid, right? All right. Hey, go to Sirach 10 and verse 1 through 3. It says they were greatly afraid. As a leader, you cannot don't let them see you sweat. Right? Because whatever spirit that you rolling in, the men under you are going to be rolling in that same spirit. And it's not just fear, right? That goes with fornication, right? Because we got these other camps out there. Their HNIC is wanting to have multiple women, and there's no wonder why the men under them have that fornication spirit on them.
Right.
They want to get drunk and go celebrate Passover in a strip club and all that stuff. There's no wonder why the men under them teach the way they teach in the street, talking unseemly to people, dealing with prostitutes, just doing some wild stuff. Read.
Sirach chapter 10 and verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people.
A wise judge will instruct his people, give them guidance, give them correction. Read.
And the government of a prudent man is well ordered.
Right. There's going to be order established, like here in IUIC. Everything established is by Bishop Nathaniel, Bishop Yawasab, Bishop Kanai. Wise men. They give clear, concise instructions on how to deal with X, Y, Z, all the way to 1, 2, 3. Right? And it's order that has been set up by these wise men. And other wise men make sure to enforce that order. You got the deacons, you got the captains, officers, so on and so forth. Keep reading.
Verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers.
So as the top man is going to be, so are the men under him are going to roll the same way. So if you're fearful, like we just read with King Saul, it's no surprise that his men under him were fearful as well. Keep reading.
And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
There you go. So how that head person over that school congregation or whatever the case may be is whatever spirit he's rolling in, the same spirit the people under him are going to be rolling in. Read.
An unwise king destroyeth his people.
But an unwise ruler, an unwise leader is going to what?
Destroyeth his people.
Destroys his people, because he's not going to set up order. He's not going to be wise when it comes to judgment. He's not going to instruct his people aright according to the laws of God. Keep reading.
But through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited.
Right. So when you have somebody in wisdom that's ruling, the people under them are going to be running in wisdom, because a person that is wise is going to instruct his people the correct way and make sure that they follow that way. So then when other people come under those people, they get those same instructions and that same guidance. All right. Let's go to, I want to skip that. Sirach 4:7, and then cue up that video of Barack Obama.
Sirach chapter 4 and verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Get thyself the love of the congregation and bow thy head to a great man.
Right. So serve great men. Get the love of the congregation. If you see somebody that's wise, be around them. Continually be around a man whom thou knowest to keep the commandments.
Right.
That's how you're going to get wisdom. Right. Dang, do I have it in here? Go, hey, cue up that video of Barack Obama.
Important thing about being a good leader is treat everybody with kindness and respect, and to listen to people. People want to be heard. And if people feel you're hearing them and you care about their ideas, they're more likely to want to work with you and be your teammate. And a lot of being a good leader really is just figuring out how you can get a team to work together. It's hard to do great things just by yourself. It's better when you're working with others.
There you go. So when you had, like we just said, it's better when you work with others, but you have to make sure that you surround yourself with other wise people. And it's easier when you have somebody that wants to learn and is not self-willed.
Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 20. Mm-hmm. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed.
Like Rehoboam, he had a companion of fools and got destroyed, right? But if you want to be wise, you got to surround yourself with other wise men. And y'all continue to work together like Barack Obama just said, all right? He said it's easier when you have a team and you, follow the counsel. You speak well with these people. You serve them, all right, to make it easier, because then that spirit that you have to want to serve wise men is going to be on them. Serve great men. That spirit is going to jump on them. But when you're trying to roll in arrogance, you're trying to force people to listen to you. Listen to me, right? Instead of seeing, it's like, I remember working at a job where the manager was just always trying to enforce her way of doing things, which was not the best way. It's like you're sitting at your desk all day pointing a finger. You're not doing anything, and you're trying to tell all of us that's doing this every day how to do the job. No, that's not how it works. Don't be that guy that's just sitting down pointing the finger and telling people, hey, you need to do this. Hey, you effing up doing this, and you ain't this, and you ain't that, and you doing this. And then when somebody does something, hey, yeah, leadership, I got this done. I did this. I did X, Y, Z. That's not how it works.
Right.
Then people, they're going to not want to serve you. So then when it comes to the respect, it's like, okay, I'm just going to do something. I'm just going to do the bare minimum to make sure that this guy right here just shuts up. Instead of doing things out of sincerity and say, you know what, Officer so-and-so told me this, man, you know what, I really want to get this done.
Yeah.
If you deal wise with the people, that's what will happen. All right. 1 Samuel 25.
1 Samuel chapter 25 and verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
And when David's young men came, they spake to Nabal according to all the words in the name of David, and ceased.
Mm-hmm.
And Nabal answered David's servants and said, who is David?
So this is the king. He said, who is David? Read.
And who is the son of Jesse?
So he knew who he was. Keep reading. What a nigga. Read.
There be many servants nowadays that break away every man from his master.
Disrespectful. Read.
Shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shears and give it unto men whom I know not whence they be?
Keep reading.
So David's young men turned their way.
So you could just imagine their face like, oh, wow. They said, all right, come on, y'all. Keep reading.
So David's young men turned their way and went again and came and told him all those sayings.
Man, King David, this is what he said. He said this, that, and the third. Keep reading.
And David said unto his men,
Go ahead.
gird ye on every man his sword.
Everybody grab the strap. Let's go. Read.
And they girded on every man his sword.
Uh-huh.
And David also girded on his sword.
Uh-huh. I got mine. Read.
And there went up after David about 400 men.
Hey, I need about 400 of y'all. Come on, we about to keep reading.
and 200 abode by the stuff.
Right. So this man, from disrespecting the leader, the king, was about to get his head knocked off. 400 men ready to roll, son. But the thing about King David was just like, all right, yeah, this is a problem. Y'all gonna handle that. King David said, all right, cool. We gonna go handle this. And I guarantee you, all 400 of these men and the 200 of the other men were more than willing to roll with King David. More than willing, right? But that goes to show, you don't disrespect leadership, all right? King David wasn't one that just sat down and pointed the finger and barked out orders. He got up and he did something. He got his hands dirty. So even with that, like a lot of y'all soldiers and officers that's over certain offices, right? Don't be the person that just sits down and quote unquote to speak, reap the benefits of, the glory and whatnot. Get your hands dirty. Help the people. Make it easier for them. Sit down and think and counsel with those above you and say, what can I do to make it easier? What issues do you see that's bottlenecked at a certain point and I can smooth it out? Like, what can I do? My team is saying this, that, and the third. What can I do to help alleviate the pressure that's on top of their head? What can I do to make it easier for them? That's the mindset you should be having. 2 Samuel 23:14.
2 Samuel chapter 23 and verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
And David was then in an hold, and the garrison of the Philistines was then in Bethlehem. And David longed and said, oh, that one would give me drink of the water of the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate. And the three mighty men brake through the host of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate.
Right. So we read here that these men had so much respect for King David that they was willing to go through a whole army of dirty Africans just to get him some water. Just like they was willing to kill that man that was talking mess about him, that was throwing rocks at him. Just like they was willing to ride on this dude in the ball because he was disrespecting him. If you serve these men and speak to them well, serve these people, speak to them well, they'll do anything for you in righteousness, right? 1 Samuel 24 and 1.
1 Samuel chapter 24 and verse 1. And it came to pass, when Saul was returned from following the Philistines, that it was told him, saying, behold, David is in the wilderness of En-gedi. Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men out of all Israel, and went to seek David and his men upon the rocks of the wild goats. And he came to the sheepcotes by the way, where was a cave. And Saul went in to cover his feet. And David and his men remained in the sides of the cave.
We're going to read down to verse 6.
And the men of David said unto him, behold, the day of which the Lord said unto thee, behold, I will deliver thine enemy into thine hand, that thou mayest do to him as it shall seem good unto thee. Then David arose and cut off the skirt of Saul's robe privily. And it came to pass afterward that David's heart smote him, because he had cut off Saul's skirt. And he said unto his men, the Lord forbid that I should do this thing unto my master, the Lord's anointed, to stretch forth my hand against him, seeing he is the anointed of the Lord.
Right, so David was so humble, like the real leader he was, right? He did not use that opportunity to destroy his enemy, because Saul at that point, I think the scripture says from that point, Saul became his enemy, right? Because he had an evil eye towards David, right? It's like you don't ever hear Bishop Nathaniel speaking evil of his leaders, his elders, the people that he came up under in the old school and all that, right? It's too much work that needs to be done, right? It's a lot of people that be coming at the bishops, coming at IUIC. He don't even be giving them the time of day. It's too much stuff that needs to be done. IUIC is on a global mission to wake up the 144 of the children of Israel, to make sure they seal with the law and bring them into repentance, the lost sheep, so we can be delivered.
Right.
What time does he have to go back and forth with some Negro that's sitting on his dirty couch that is doing absolutely nothing, that has Tourette's in his mouth? Gog and Magog. Nobody cares about that, bro. All right? If you have something to do, go do that. Do something else other than hating. Play haters ball of the year. All right. So we're running short on time. So that was just a few things with leadership. Go to Proverbs 24:17, and then we're going to go into marriage.
Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 17. Rejoice not when thine enemy falleth, and let not thine heart be glad when he stumbleth.
Right. So that's the mindset that King David had when it came to Saul, because Saul was literally trying to kill him multiple times, and he had the opportunity, and even his men was like, hey, listen, you can go get him.
Yep.
Right. Just like when you see in the movies, like they'll have somebody that they've been hunting down, but then the dude that wants to get revenge, he's like, no, he's mine. And like the people be like, yeah, he's yours. Like they had that respect for him.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they did here, because they could have offed him easily. Saul was sleeping. But they went back to David because they still kept their respect. But David had so much integrity, and he still called this man master and called him the Lord's anointed. The first murmur you hear about leadership, you're so quick to speak evil about him.
Right.
The first thing you hear, oh man, I knew it.
Yeah.
You said what?
Just go along with it.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
I knew it. I knew he was this, and I knew he was that. Telling you, be so quick. All right, let's go into marriage real quick. 1 Samuel 25. We're going to go back to 1 Samuel 25. All right, we're going to be talking about Nabal. Now we're going to look at what Abigail did. 1 Samuel 25 and 23.
1 Samuel chapter 25 and verse 23.
Y'all wives ain't off the hook. Read.
And when Abigail saw David, she hasted and lighted off the ass and fell before David on her face and bowed herself to the ground.
So this is after her husband Nabal just was talking greasy about King David. So now King David then came back with over 400 men. Read.
And fell at his feet and said, upon me, my Lord, upon me let this iniquity be.
Right. So the evil that her husband did, she said, let it be on me. That lets you know that this sister was such in the spirit of the Most High God, such in the spirit of Christ. She didn't want evil to come to her husband, even though he deserved it.
Right.
Keep reading.
And let thine handmaid, I pray thee, speak in thine audience and hear the words of thine handmaid. Let not my Lord, I pray thee, regard this man of Belial, even Nabal. For as his name is, so is he.
So she knew this dude was an idiot, but she still loved him. We still together. You remember that from A Living Color? Right?
Yeah.
It lets you know, you sisters, if your husband is out the spirit, don't go tit for tat with him. All right? I think it's in 1 Peter that you should win him over with your conversation. Did you finish that scripture in 25?
Yeah, not yet. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I, thine handmaid, saw not the young men of my Lord, whom thou didst send. Right,
so she's pleading on behalf of her evil husband for King David and his men not to kill him. All right. Jump to Proverbs 14:1.
Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. Yeah, she'll pluck it down with her hands, with her mouth, with everything, because she don't know how to be quiet. She see her husband go to Sirach 26:14. She see her husband had a rough day and would still nag him to death. Nah. Be wise, all right? Know when to speak. Know when to be quiet, all right? If you see he just needs some time for himself, let him have that time to himself, all right? Read. Proverbs?
Sirach.
Okay.
26:14.
Sirach 26 and verse 14. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord.
A what?
A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord.
Can you read?
And there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed.
All right, give me that video on Learn to Be Quiet.
I don't think a lot of women realize the power that we have. The power that we have to inspire the men around us. I say this because I see a lot of unruly, mean women that speak so horrible to their husbands and don't realize that is hurting not only him, but it's hurting your whole family.
Damn.
We have the power to inspire our men to be great. How do we do that? With our mouths. We're either quiet, at the right times, or we know when to speak and when to breathe life and speak life into our husbands. We tell him that we trust him and we encourage him the best way we know how. But in that same breath, you have to recognize there is a time and a place to give your opinions. And that's when he asks. You don't have to always give your opinion or your suggestion to him. Even if you think your way is best, let him figure it out. Because what it says when you're quiet, it says that I trust you with my life.
Damn. Is this just in the truth? I think I know a brother that... I was playing. Yeah, but hey, yes. A lot of times what happens is the husband, we're going through a situation and a wife wants to put her 2 cents in when she has no need to say anything regarding it. Like things that's dealing with leadership, like matters with leadership. You don't need to ask about nothing. That ain't your damn business. You don't need to know what's going on. That ain't your damn business. Nobody cares about your opinion. When men are dealing with matters of men, women stay out of it. Because the leaders know when women come with problems dealing with women issues, hey, nah, that ain't me.
Right.
I ain't got nothing to do with that. You senior sisters handle that. A lot of men, leaders, they know to stay out of stuff, but women want to be poking their black nose in everybody's business.
Yep.
It ain't your business. Just stay out of it. And the scripture said that you need to know when to speak and you know to uplift your man, because some of y'all want to tear down y'all's husbands. Some of y'all want to do that. All right. It was another point she made in the video where she said, hey, put the video back up one more time. Come on, cuz.
I don't think a lot of women realize the power that we have. The power that we have to inspire the men around us. I say this because I see a lot of unruly, mean women that speak so horrible to their husbands.
That's
and don't
it right there. And don't play it a little bit more.
That is hurting not only him, but it's hurting your whole family.
Okay, that's what I want right there. Yeah, because the words that you continue to speak are so disrespectful, you don't even understand that you're poisoning your children with that.
Right.
And then when your daughter starts to act like you want to try to get mad at your daughter about that. She just mimicking what she sees every day on how you treat your husband.
Right.
With disrespect, unruly, disrespectful words. And then you wonder why your husband don't want to go home. He want to stay out all night with the brothers. Esther 1:20.
Esther chapter 1 and verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
And when the king's decree, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both great and small.
If he rich or if he broke. Read.
And the saying pleased the king and the princess, and the king did according to the word of Memucan.
Right. So you're supposed to be showing honor. You're supposed to be showing respect to your husband, all right? Whether he be great or small, all right? Whether he be short or tall, all right? You should be showing respect to your husband. If he's a brother in his truth, all the way to him being a bishop, you should be showing respect to your husbands in every level. He doing everything he can to provide for you, provide for the family. You need to be showing that man respect, all right? Go to Genesis 19:17. I want to read about something real quick. Show y'all women something about yourself. Genesis 19:17.
Genesis chapter 19, verse 17. And it came to pass when they had brought them forth abroad that he said, escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed.
So now jump down to verse 26. So the angel gave them clear, specific, concise instructions, right?
Right.
He told them, don't look back. Don't look behind thee. All right? Go and escape to the mountain. Read.
But
Read.
his wife looked back from behind him.
She did what?
His wife looked back from behind him.
Brothers, listen. Even angels cannot change the mind of the woman, the black woman. The angel gave her clear, concise, specific instructions. Do not look back. Do whatever you do not look down. Oh, I'm looking down, right? He told her, don't look back. It says, but his wife, Lot's wife, looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. That's what happened. She ain't listen. right? I want to go to Genesis 27:14 and then cue up that video about disrespect your husband.
Genesis chapter 27 and verse 14. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved.
That's another thing too. Sisters, if y'all don't have a cookbook that is full of your husband's favorite recipes, you need to check your spirit and you need to get that. You like that, huh, Jariah?
I love it.
He love that. And it's a lot of times too, the wife be like, are you hungry? And the husband be like, yeah. She be like, well, what do you want? You should know what I want. You should have a recipe of a cookbook full of a whole bunch of different recipes of everything that I like. It don't matter. Everything in that book is my favorite that you make. And you should just go in and get it. Go in, get it and make it. Go in the kitchen and whip it up. Right? And then I hate when you be like, she be like, I'm hungry. Okay, what do you want to eat? I don't know anything. Okay, how about we eat this? Nah, I don't want that.
Right.
Come on now. All right, give me that video about disrespect your husband.
You want to lose a man's heart? Disrespect him. Now, the Bible says, women, respect your men. I want you to understand that respect deals with your home life. It deals with how you treat him at home, how you talk to him, how you respond to him, whether or not you listen, whether or not you allow his voice to have authority. You talked about submission earlier, Precious, and how beautiful that is. How important is submission?
Black women hate that word.
To a man
submission.
When it comes to respect. Because I believe for a man, respect and submission are like, they're almost synonymous.
All right, so from the video we just saw, 2 videos we saw, sisters that are not in the truth, their mindset is like a sister should have in the truth.
Right.
That's crazy. It's crazy how you can see something that like sisters in the world, they have their mind in a better
space.
In a better space. Yeah. Right?
I'm sorry. We just read Esther 1 and 20 where the heathen made a law that says, wives, you respect your husband.
Yeah.
This is a heathen that knows better.
There you go. All right. Ephesians 5:22 through 25.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands.
Hey, it's another thing I want to say too. A lot of the wives be saying, yes, my Lord, this, that, and the third at home and all that. But when they get out, he's a Negro. He's a nigga. He's this, that, and the third. Hey, listen, don't y'all brothers will be falling for that. Yes, my Lord, this, that, and the third. Why don't you treat him like that then?
Right.
Why callest thou me Lord, Lord, and do not the things that I say? Somebody said, damn. Ephesians 5:22.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord.
As unto the Lord, because the husband is supposed to be Christ in the household.
Right.
Read.
For the husband is the head of the wife.
The husband is 50-50 with the wife.
The husband is the head of the wife.
The husband is supposed to stand behind a strong black woman.
The husband is the head of the wife. Even
the same way
as Christ is the head of the church.
Is the head of the church. Thus saith the Lord in the New Testament in the book of Ephesians, the 5th chapter, in the 22nd and 23rd verse. Keep reading.
And he is the Savior of the body.
There you go. Verse 2. Yeah, keep reading. Down to 25.
Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ.
Just the same way the church is subject unto Christ.
So let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
That's right. In everything. I got that highlighted and underlined. Damn it. 25.
Verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Right. So that lets you know it's not just a one-way thing where the wives just have to do. No, listen, you husbands, you have a job and a responsibility to your wife as well. She's a weaker vessel. You're supposed to treat her as your wife. Treat her as you love her like you love yourself. All right. But you wives, you're supposed to be treating your husband in the house as if you were dealing with Christ himself. So all that disrespect and all that I'm tired tonight and all that what else, Jariah?
Headache.
All the headaches. Want to hear none of that stuff. All right. What'd you say? Cramps. Okay, brothers. All right, we're getting too specific
Great,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, we just giving away what. All right, there's other things. All right, you freak. All right. Well, I don't want to hear none of that. All that disrespect, all that slick talk, slick mouthed stuff, backhand. I don't like the backhanded comments as well. That's disrespect. Just like when King David came back from getting the Ark of the Covenant, and then his wife was like, "How glorious was the King of Israel?" This and the third. He put her. Didn't he lock her away in a dungeon?
He shut it down.
He shut it down. That's disrespect.
Yeah.
Those backhanded comments, disrespect. All right. So your husband is Christ in the household. Let me look at this real quick. I got 1 Corinthians 7, but I know we pressed for time. We're gonna jump down probably. 1 Corinthians 7 and 3. No, that's fine. So now we're going to deal with family and the congregation. Just a few more scriptures, all right? I want Ephesians 4, 2, verse 3.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 2. With all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love,
Right?
endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace.
Right. So endeavoring means to make a strenuous act. All right. It's not going to be easy for all of us to get along with each other, but we got to do it. We a nation. We supposed to be in one mind. We supposed to speak the same thing. So when you have somebody that's being disrespectful towards leadership or murmuring against leadership, listen, you're supposed to endeavor to make sure that that spirit comes back into the spirit by you correcting them and rebuking them and letting them know, listen, you're going off. Look at the example of what happens when you disrespect your leadership, when you murmur against them. Yep. There's always judgment at the end of that tunnel. Yep. All right? And it's up to you to have enough love and respect for your brother and sister when you see them going off. All right? Sirach 11 and 8.
Sirach chapter 11 and verse 8. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause, neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk.
Right. You're supposed to have respect for one another. All right. Because a lot of times brothers will be talking, they'll be speaking about something serious, and you just come up and be, hey, man, did you check those fries out at that new fast food restaurant down the street? Like, damn, bro, just chill out. All right. No, I didn't. Matter of fact, I didn't. All right. Give me James 3 and 13.
James chapter 3 and verse 13. For he shall have judgment without mercy, that has showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment.
Right, read it again.
For he shall have judgment without mercy, that has showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment.
Keep reading.
What doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he have faith?
Hold on. James 3 and 13.
3:13? I'm sorry, that was 2.
Yeah.
Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom.
Right. So out of a good conversation, his works with meekness of wisdom. All right. Going back to, if you speak good, all right, you'll show how much wisdom that you have. Read.
But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not and lie not against the truth.
Right. Read.
This wisdom descended not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish.
Right. So when you have bitter envying and strife in your heart, that's not the spirit of the Lord. All right. That's the spirit of Satan. Devilish. Read.
For where envying and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work.
Right. All the way to 18. Read a little faster.
But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated.
Easy to be entreated. So you're, as a leader, you should be approachable. As a sister, as a brother, you should be showing yourself friendly. A man that has many friends must show himself friendly. All right. Easily to be entreated. Read.
Full of mercy and good fruits.
Good fruits. Read.
Without partiality.
Without partiality, you're judging righteousness, right?
And without hypocrisy.
Without hypocrisy. You're not telling somebody to do something and you yourself was not doing it. Hey, y'all brothers need to do this, do that, and third. You just sitting down barking out orders. You ain't doing nothing. The bishop, the general, puts the order out. You don't even see him just sitting down while everybody else is doing stuff.
Right.
Bishop Nathaniel is like King David. He's heading the charge. Anytime there's something that needs to go, if we don't break ground in somewhere international, he's the one that's setting foot on soil first.
Right.
Every time since I've been in the truth, I've seen Bishop Nathaniel do that. Bishop Yavasab, Bishop Kanai, I've seen these men do that. When they want something done, they do it themselves first. And then it's like, okay, listen, this is the plan. Just how, like Christ. Christ came, he taught the disciples, he did things first. He went to the northern kingdom first.
Right.
Then he told his men, listen, once y'all got the spirit, then y'all go. Read.
Without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace.
Right. Peace. We have been called to peace. All right, last scripture, 1 Timothy 5.
1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 1. Rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father.
Right, so you're supposed to be looking at your elders as a father. Read.
And the younger men as brethren.
So these little ones in here, you're supposed to be treating as your brothers. Read.
The elder women as mothers.
The elder women, you look at them as your mama. Read.
The younger as sisters. With all purity.
With all purity, because some of y'all have an impure, is that a word? Impure?
Impure.
Huh?
Impure.
Impure. Damn, I'm taking vocabulary lessons from Jariah. Damn. I'm just playing. Right. It says with all purity, because some of y'all brothers have an impure mind when looking at these sisters. Y'all don't look at them as your sister. Y'all look at them as some other stuff, like out in the world. Right? And then when it comes to your elders telling you, hey, listen, leave that sister alone. She's dealing with some stuff.
Yep.
Y'all don't respect them like y'all would a father telling y'all. Y'all don't respect them like a brother is telling y'all something. Y'all want to go off of your own mind. Your first carnal thought.
Yep.
The first thought you think when you see a sister that look good usually is not a righteous thought. First time you see, you be like, damn. You're like, oh man. I'm telling you, I'm just keeping it real, like they say, keeping it real. All right. Read verse 3.
Verse 3. Honor widows that are widows indeed.
Right. So showing that we're supposed to be having respect for one another. All right. Verse 17.
Verse 17. Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor.
Right. They should be getting the ultimate respect. Read.
Especially they who labor in the word and doctrine.
Right. So shout out to bishops, shout out to the deacons, shout out to the captains, the officers, all you men that's going out spreading the gospel, all you sisters that are dealing righteous by your husband. All right, that's treating the younger sisters to be mothers, to be wives. Shout out to you all. All right, this was a lesson about respect. We need to have respect for one another, have respect for your elders and your leadership. All right, with that, I say shalom.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.